Good afternoon, Louisiana, and welcome to At the Book for Thursday, June 9th. I am Zach Ewing. With me here today, our producer, Devin Jackson, top left corner of your screen, Spencer the Guru Urquhart, and Jim Derry. We are here to talk you through the sports weekend to come. Of course, the NBA Finals, but also the Belmont Stakes, College World Series field will be set this weekend. The U.S. Open is coming up in golf next week. We might talk about that just a little bit. But we are going to start with the finals. And actually, we're going to start with, if you have not yet bet on the finals, Caesars has quite a good offer for you. It's actually a better offer than it was even a couple of weeks ago. Bet insurance up to $1,500. Your first bet, risk-free, if you bet any amount up to $1,500 and lose. Like, let's say you were Spencer the Guru and you loved the Warriors last night, didn't work out. Yeah. Well, you get that money.
Zach's having some issues, frozen. So, well, you see what the promotion is. We've talked about it. It was $1,100. Now it's up to $1,500. So a good deal there. Gentlemen, I will take the reins until Zach can get back. Maybe we take him off. Oh, no, is he back? There he is. He's back.
I never realized I left. That's how insidious this thing is. I'm plugged in. That's where I am.
Live TV. Man.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's talk some NBA Finals. Last night's Game 3 in Boston went the way of the Celtics. The final score was 116-100. Another big fourth quarter for the Celtics. Little bit of a trend. I mean, it's only been 3 games, obviously, but Golden State has not scored more than 20 points in any fourth quarter. In Game 2, I mean, look, it was garbage time in the fourth quarter. But I don't know if that's relying too much on Steph Curry and he gets tired in the fourth quarter. I don't know if that's the Celtics just locking down on defense. I don't know if it's just a coincidence. But that has been the case in the first 3 games.
Yeah, it has, and Curry is there's only so much he can do. It was tough for him last night because he didn't have enough support. Klay Thompson stepped up though, so that was good to see. But outside of them, there wasn't a whole lot going on. Draymond Green, man, it just killed him last night. There's nothing offensively, and he plays recklessly. Fouled out again. He's just a nutcase right now, man. He's gonna have to rein it in there with his temper because he's just killing him. I mean, he's just not providing nearly enough positive to justify he's always been kind of a reckless, get in your face kind of presence, which when he's good, it's a positive, but right now it's just he's got to reinvent himself or he's going to cost them potentially the series. I hate to say it because like y'all said earlier, I bet on Golden State and I still think they'll get it done, but Draymond's got to shake back, man. That was inexcusable the way he played last night.
Yeah, I mean, look, this is how bad Draymond was. When he fouled out, I started to look at the clock and be like, okay, the Celtics lead is safe, right? Like, I mean, because now the Warriors might come back now that he's not on the court. I don't, I don't know if it's just Draymond. I mean, Klay was good last night. He was not particularly good in the first 2 games. I think what we're seeing is that the best player on the court is Steph Curry, right? I mean, he's a legend. But after that, the Warriors are not nearly as deep as Boston is. At least they haven't been so far. We'll see. Again, it's only been 3 games. The series is, could only be half over, less than that. So we'll see what happens. But so far, they have not gotten enough from that supporting cast.
I don't think I agree with either one of you. I mean, I know that's a shock to you, but first off, with Draymond plays the way that Draymond's been playing his entire career. The point is, and I'm not blaming the officials. Golden State deserved to lose last night. The officiating is not consistent. He played the way he plays every single game. He got in trouble with it in Game 3. In Game 2, he got away with it. So, I mean, if you're him, how are you supposed to know how it's going to be called? And as far as the supporting cast, I mean, I thought Klay played an excellent game last night. I know you said that he did, but I mean, I don't think the others. I wish they would involve Jordan Poole a little bit more. So I think that's on Steve Kerr. But as far as the supporting cast, they did what they do, and you just had a great night last night from 3 guys for the Celtics who scored 24 points or more, and it's not really that big of a surprise in the grand scheme of things. So, I mean, to me, this series is not that far off the script. I still think the Golden State Warriors are the best team in this series. I still think they're going to win. We'll see what happens in Game 4. If they lose Game 4, they're in deep trouble. But we'll see what happens. I have not done enough analysis to say whether I'm going to pick them and bet on them. But I probably, since I have futures, I probably just leave it alone. But I think overreaction. I mean, we're 3 games into a series. We're not even halfway through because I think this is going 7 games.
Well, let's talk about the rest. Actually, Devin, before we do that, what was your take on last night's game?
Yeah, I mean, the thing with the Warriors, I just feel like once shots aren't falling for them, you know, it really starts to spiral. You know, like whereas the Celtics, they can probably go a quarter and a half stretch, and because of how well they play defensively, they can stay in games and how physical they are. But I feel like with the Warriors, you're not hitting perimeter shots, you know, and pretty much the entire fourth quarter, they weren't really attacking the basket either. They were settling for a lot of long jump shots. You know, some of the credit is to the Celtics defense, but also I feel like the Warriors are settling because they feel like they can shoot themselves out of any deficit. And while they can do that and have shown that ability, I think you're going to have a much more diverse approach to against the Celtics than they've shown. So I think, you know, just based on last night's game, I mean, you know, and Zach and I talk about this, you know, at the beginning of the series, I think it's going to be a longer series. And this is why I thought so. When the Celtics don't shoot themselves in the foot with turnovers and bad mistakes, then you see a team that's capable of winning a championship. So I think they're certainly going to continue to push the Warriors' buttons. You know, they were very physical last night. Especially guarding Steph Curry, maybe got away with quite a bit of fouls as well. But I think when a team is that aggressive, you know, the referees are going to call it their way.
Exactly. They also got killed on the boards. I mean, if Golden State gets killed on the boards like they got last night, you can't give Boston that many chances, especially on the offensive rebounding end. You know, Golden State prides itself in being able to get some of their own offensive rebounds. They weren't able to do that last night, and to me, they lacked energy, especially early on. And I know they had a great third quarter, like they've had quite a few great third quarters, but you can't get killed on the boards like they did. And if they do that again in Game 4, they'll get beat again.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Celtics are more athletic for one thing. Warriors are more skilled, certainly with Curry and Clay, they are. But I don't think they're as athletic. You said something last night in our group chat, Jim, that I thought, and at the moment I sort of scoffed at you, and I think you're actually right, because, you know, I said the Celtics are making some dumb plays. This is when they gave up the 7-point possession, and they gave up the lead.
Write this down. Write this down. He said I was right. Please mark the date and time, 4:10 p.m. on June 9th. Go ahead, Zach.
And this is what the Celtics do. They do go through these, you know, 5-minute, 8-minute, maybe even 12-minute periods where they turn the ball over a bunch. They miss layups. They don't close out on shooters on defense. Like, and you're going, what the hell are these guys doing? And it happened against Milwaukee and Miami in a couple of quarters. I think it was Game 3 against Miami where they got up. I mean, they were just awful in the first half, completely awful, and still almost won the game. And that's when I felt pretty good about that series, because I said they couldn't play any worse than that. And they lost that game by 6 points or something. And they did that. They did that in Game 2. And certainly the Warriors are a sort of team that if you do that against, they're going to pounce and put a 25-2 run on you like they did. And then they did it last night in the third quarter as well. But when they snap out of that, they're the better team. They're the better team. And so the question is, are they going to stay out of those modes where they play sort of stupid and lack focus and everything long enough to assert themselves and certainly win their last 2 home games? Because I think if they do, they win the series in 6, like I've been saying the entire time. I don't know. And let's look at the series price, because now that we got this nonsense of Jim Derry saying the Warriors would win in 5 out of the way, we can take a look at the series.
That's not what I said. That's not what I said. I said they would win in 5 or 7. I said they wouldn't win in 6.
Wait. No, I'm talking about last Thursday. Last Thursday's show, your pick was Celtics in 5.
That wasn't a firm pick. I said then you need to see how this series starts, and you can do whatever you want. You can lean back. You can do it. Rewind tape, however you want to do it. I said you need how to see this series starts, and then Monday I said if they win Game 3, they're going to win in 5. If they don't win Game 3, they're going to win in 7. That's what I said.
All right.
I still think they're going to win in 7.
Devin Jackson and I prepared for this scenario. We did.
Go ahead, run it. Please run it. By all means, please run it.
Devin, load that clip up and let's run.
I think it's going 5 games, guys. I know you both think it's going to be a longer series, but I don't. I think Golden State's that good. I think they're on a mission. I think they're going to play like they're on a mission. I think they'll drop 1 in Boston and make it semi-interesting. I think they'll go back to San Francisco up 3-1 and close it out. Did you pick the rest of it out where I also talked about how we need to see how it starts? Did you get that part too? Because let's hear that part.
Didn't seem you did that pick did not seem am I right, Spencer, Devin? Did that pick seem ambiguous to you guys? Wait, don't kick Jim out. Hold on.
I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere.
That didn't seem ambiguous to me. That seemed
the
pretty.
Clip where I talked about how we need to see it starts, and then run Monday's clip as well when I said that it's either going 5 or 7.
Well, by Monday they'd already lost a home game. Of course, it wasn't going to go 5.
So what?
Oh, yeah. Now listen, we have talked about this. I'm gonna be out of town next week. If the Celtics lose this series, I will be on the show from wherever I am on a highway in Ohio to take my medicine. I will do it. Okay. And the same way, if they win, I will be on the show to take my victory lap. So don't
please do. Please jump in.
I mean, listen, but I want the same thing out of you. And you said Celtics in 5.
Fair enough. If I come, I'm not going anywhere until the week after next. So I'm going to be here. I'll be glad to take my medicine. In fact, I'll get the medicine out of the pantry, and I might have medicine before I even come on the show.
I got to find some Irish bar or something where they got green shades so that just in case. Yeah.
I might have some quote unquote medicine before I come on the show.
All right. And here's a serious question for you guys, Jim, Spencer, and Devin. I know you didn't have money on it, but if you had bet the Warriors previously, maybe you don't want to put more on them, but let's say you hadn't. Is plus 190 a good price to jump on Golden State at this point?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, there's value there, definitely. I had put some on them, after game 1 when they were plus. So I might put a little more, probably not too much more. I've already got the futures bet on them, and the more I put on them after game 1. But that's a good thing about this. You don't have to worry about if they win in 5, 6, 7. As long as they just get it done, you get the cash. So I'm thinking. I had said in 6. I'm thinking now in 7. I definitely think this is going 7 now. But yeah, there's still value to be had there for sure if you like the Dubs.
Marty says boo Aints. We will talk about the Saints here in a few minutes, by the way. So stick around after we're done with our NBA Finals talk. Jim, Warriors plus 190, fair price?
It's a fair price. I think there's value there. I agree with Spencer, but if you've already bet on the Warriors, I'm not to the point to where I think you should go and load up. So I'm not going to put any more on them. I'm fine with where I am personally. If you haven't bet a lot, sure, go put some more on them. And I would say this, if you haven't put a lot on them and you think they're going to win game 4 and you think they're going to eventually win this, because if they win game 4, we're going to be back to probably minus 110 and minus 110, right? So if you like Golden State in game 4, I would probably suggest that you don't put money necessarily on that particular game. I think you're better off putting it on the line to win the series. Because then, even though the Celtics have been good on the road, I think the Warriors go back to being the favorites if they can win game 4. So if you feel like they're going to win game 4, I would rather put money on the series line, but not a ton. I just think there's more value there.
Yeah, and Devin, I want your thought too, but I think it'd actually go the other way. I think the Warriors would be favored in the series if they win tomorrow night, because
could be
at that point it's 2-2 and they've got 2 home games out of the last 3. So I do think they'd be probably in the minus 140, minus 150 range. Devin, what say you on the series price?
Yeah, I think if you want to bet on the Warriors to win the finals, I think you do it now, or this is probably the last good time that you're gonna get a good series price at the very least. because I feel like even if they win game 4 and then Boston wins game 5, I don't think it's going to be maybe it's a little higher, but then you're hoping the Warriors win the next 2 games, which is very possible. But I mean, a closeout game in Boston for game 6, that's not something you want to hang your hat on. But I think
you could wait until Boston wins tomorrow night and get plus 700, but depends on how patient you want to be.
Nah, if they lose on in game 4, I know how good the Warriors are, but they're not coming back from 3-1. It's just not going to happen here.
I agree. Yeah, that's why that's why I'm saying if you like the Warriors to come back, now's the time to do it. I don't think you're going to get a better price that's reasonable. I mean, if they lose game 4, I don't care what the price is. You can't put any money on it. Right. They're not going to win the last 3.
So just to be clear, you guys are saying maybe you're not going this far. The winner of game 4 wins this series.
I wouldn't say I go that far, but I definitely think the winner is in the driver's seat to win at the very least, because you have to think the Warriors aren't going to play like they did in game 1 at home, in a pivotal game, especially in the fourth quarter. So I mean, Golden State is a must-win game 4 pretty much, but I would feel pretty comfortable if you're betting on the Warriors to win the finals to go ahead and win, game 4 and game 5, if that's the case. But I could see an argument where that's the case.
Yeah, I can agree with that statement, Zach, because I think if Golden State loses in there, I mean that 3-1 hole is you're probably not going to climb out of that. Where if they win it, I think that at that point they'll be back as the favorites to win the series. So yeah, it's a must-win for the Dubs, no doubt.
Here is your game 4 line, and here's flip it around the other way. I've got quite a bit of money on Celtics futures at some good odds. At what point do I hedge, Jim?
That's a good question. I mean, it depends on what you have and how much you stand to win. Let's just throw a theoretical out there. Let's say you got the Celtics I know you got them better than this. Let's say you got them at like plus 800, and you stand to win $800. It wouldn't hurt to put $100 on the Warriors right now, because if you win even 50, because if you put 50 on them, you're going to get your bet back. I don't know that I'd hedge right now. I know the price is right, but I just don't. I think the Celtics, if you got that great of a price on the Celtics, I'm not sure it's worth hedging right now. I would probably just stick with it and roll with it. I mean, you're looking good, right? I mean, if it's the same thing I said Monday, if there's no reason to think if you like the Celtics before the series started, there's no reason to not like them now. And I'm not necessarily think it's worth a hedge. And I'm a hedging kind of guy, but if I had a Celtics ticket, I don't think I would hedge right now.
No, and I'm not going to right now. Reason being, I actually don't like plus 190 as a series price. I think it ought to be higher than that. What I might do is if the Celtics have another double-digit lead at halftime tomorrow night, I might hedge on game 4 and either take the points with the Warriors and try to hit a middle, or take the money line if I could get a plus 500 money line just on game 4. Because if the Warriors lose game 4, look, we all think it's over. And if they should win game 4, I cash my plus 500 hedge. And honestly, the Celtics would still have a chance to win the series at that point. It wouldn't be over. So,
I mean, you can do a game by game thing, honestly. Mm-hmm. I'd almost bet, if you want to talk about hedging, this is an instance where it's the one instance where I probably would bet tomorrow on the Warriors. Maybe you put a little something on the Warriors, like you said, plus 4. But there's a decent chance that it falls in the middle. If it's a tight game, you can win the bet. Get your money for your hedge, and you're in good spot. And if the Warriors win, then you win your bet, and you still get enough money there. So there's ways to do it. I just don't. I don't think that's a good enough price to be hedging right now.
No, and I don't think plus 4 is enough either. I would wait for a live opportunity, and unless Boston just gets blown out, there'll be a chance where I can get at least 4 during the game, I think. NBA Finals correct score. This is interesting to me. And by the way, shop around a little bit, even within the Caesars Sportsbook, because, like, for instance, here, Celtics in 5 is plus 290, but you can also bet the exact number of games in the series, and 5 games is plus 320. Well, if it goes 5 games, like, mathematically, it's going to be the Celtics in 5. And so why wouldn't you bet the plus 320 instead of the 290? Just play those comparison games, make sure you're giving yourself the best odds. But Jim, I would guess that the thing that you would have your eye on here would be Warriors in 7 at plus 310.
Yeah, and if you like the Warriors, I think that's the way to bet it. I don't see the Warriors sweeping the final 3 games. So to me, Warriors in 6 is kind of a pipe dream. It could happen, but I doubt it. So yeah, I mean, if I were going to bet on the Warriors at this point, I would probably put a little bit on the plus 310. But if you have the Warriors right now, you want to talk about possibly hedging. I mean, I don't think Celtics in 7 is a bad bet. I mean, to be honest, at plus 550, there's value there, because I think there's a good chance that the Warriors find a way to win 2 more games, and then you're talking about a 1-game thing where you got a plus 550. I don't think that's a bad value right there.
No. Devin, Spencer, your thoughts?
Yeah, I would maybe take a stab at Warriors in 6, because at plus 800, it's possible. I probably would do this in 7 though, with the plus 310. But Zach's saying no. I mean, hey, plus 800, why not?
Celtics haven't even lost 2 in a row in the playoffs. They haven't lost 2 in a row since March. They ain't losing 3 in a row. It's not happening. And 2 of them would be at home.
Zach, and we've talked about this, and I don't want to go too far into it because I don't want conspiracy theories to be thrown out there. But look, we all know the NBA wants this to go 7 games if it can. If any team's going to get the benefit of the doubt by officials, it's going to be the team that needs to win more than any other, which is why I think the Warriors are going to get the benefit of the doubt tomorrow night. We'll see what happens if they do win Game 4. We'll see what happens in Game 5. But whoever's down, if it goes to Game 6 and it's 3-2, whoever's got the 2 is going to get the benefit of the doubt. It's just going to happen that way. It's always like that. So if they have a chance to get this to 7 games, they're going to. Hence why I like the value in the Game 7 bets. I think there's a good chance it goes 7, because I think that's what the NBA wants at this point.
Yeah, that's maybe true to a certain extent. I mean, I think referees can influence games by a few points here and there. They can't make it obvious. So if a team wins by 20 points, it's there's just nothing the refs are going to be able to do about that. But
when Al Horford falls on the back of Steph's legs, and then 2 seconds later Draymond breathes on somebody and he gets called for his 6th foul, I think that's kind of evidence right there that that's just one of them. The goaltending, the 2 minutes before that was a little bit of evidence too. So we can go through that little stretch right there, and I can pull out about 4 or 5 calls that could be. I'm just saying, whatever team needs the game for, or whatever, they can write a script. In basketball, it's easier to write a script than any other sport with officials. Any other sport.
Why do we think the Celtics needed that game more? I don't understand that.
Because if they go down 2-1 at home, they're done. They lose Game 3 at home, they're done. They're done.
So does it then follow if they lose Game 4 at home, they're done?
No, I don't necessarily think they're done. I think this is going 7 games. I think they might as well just – no, I think it's going to Game 7. I really do. I think it's going to Game 7. That's what I thought.
Look, if
you're evidence to see this script before.
If your evidence for why last night's game was slanted was Draymond Green, then we were watching a different game, because that guy could have been called for 9 fouls. He could have been called for 9 fouls.
Oh, come on. The Celtics could have been in the given the bonus up by the 8th minute with 8 minutes to go in the game, but they weren't calling fouls on Boston. I'm not, and again, I am not saying that's why Golden State lost. The Celtics deserved to win. They were the better team last night. They played better. They did everything better, really. They shot better. They rebounded better, except for the one little stretch where they had about a 5-minute stretch where you talked about where we don't know what they were doing. They were by far the better team. They deserved to win. But you can't tell me that you watched enough NBA Finals in your life to know that sometimes there's a script, and quite often it follows that script.
Well, I'm not saying it never happens. All right, game 4 tomorrow night, Friday night. Devin, your pick, game 4, Celtics -4 or Warriors +4?
Give me Warriors +4. This series just feels like 7. I mean, just from really the opening game where everyone thought the Warriors were going to roll in that one, Celtics stole one. I think it is a game of stealing home court, and I think pretty much from here on out, it's going to be about, can either team close and that stretch the Celtics had in last game kind of worries me because I think even at home, juiced up, there was a moment of weakness where the Warriors could have, really taken that thing over, but they couldn't get over the hump. But I think they come out more focused. I think you're going to see a classic game from Steph Curry, Klay Thompson. I think they're going to find a way to get Jordan Poole involved too. So I'm taking the Warriors +4.
Spencer the Guru, your game 4 pick.
Yeah, I gotta go with Devin on this one. Warriors +4. I might even go with the money line here because I feel good that they'll be able to even this thing up. And it just, Draymond. I mean, I think he'll make some adjustments. I think I know Jim says he plays his style, which I get that, but he's gonna have to not be quite as aggressive, dial it back just a little. But he's a veteran. I mean, he's been around for years. I mean, he knows the drill. He knows how to. When he needs to scale it back, I feel like. I mean, he's had so much playoff experience, this is why I'm riding with the Dubs, man. They've been here before with that big 3, and then with Jordan Poole and Andrew Wiggins, I think they'll improve from there. That neither one had a great game last night. I think they'll do better and they'll have enough to tie the series up.
By the way, Jim, before we get to you, who was the guy who was on here Monday saying he wanted an alternate line, Warriors -6.5? And I said, come back on Thursday and either brag or take.
Yeah, he's not
Where you
back.
at, man?
We'd have to go find him. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back.
Yeah, where you at, man? -6.5. Come on.
He'll come back if the Warriors win the next 2 games. He'll be back.
That's how it goes. All right, Jim, your game 4 pick.
Well, I have the Warriors win the series. I still think they're going to win the series, so I don't think they can win the series without winning game 4. That being said, I don't know that I would take the money line simply because of what I'm looking at right now. It looks like about 60 to 65% of the money is on the money line, and only 50% of the bets it's 50-50 when you look at the spread. So I think people that like Boston are gonna bet them, are gonna give the -4, and the people that like Golden State are gonna take the money line. So I'm not gonna mess with the money line. If I bet it all, I probably would bet just take the 4 points. Hope that I win. If I win, great. To me, there's not enough value in betting the money line here. I'd take the +4.
Yeah, and look, I like the Celtics. Everybody knows I like the Celtics. I think the Celtics win tomorrow. I will not be betting it. I got too much on the line already. I think if they can win, if they can win this game, then obviously they are in the catbird seat. Like I said, I may look for an opportunity to hedge on Golden State if I can. If the Celtics get out to another first half lead, find a spot to get a. I think yesterday at halftime it was Golden State +8.5. So something like that. Where maybe I could grab Golden State +8.5, and if it is a close game, I'll win that bet either way, and hopefully Boston can win. So that's where we're at with the NBA Finals. They continue tomorrow, and we'll talk 4:00 on Monday for Bayou Bets. By the way, Trey Wingo is going to be on to talk U.S. Open, but we will also have Game 5 of the Finals that night in San Francisco, and we'll talk that as well. So 4:00 on these same channels for Bayou Bets. The other things going on this weekend, let's start with some horse racing, guys. Saturday, the final Triple Crown race. And, like Rich Strike wins the Kentucky Derby, sits out the Preakness. Then when our Preakness winner sits out the Belmont, it's been a pretty dreary Triple Crown season.
Yeah, there hasn't been much fun in these races to me, except for the Kentucky Derby. Obviously, it was fun watching Rich Strike come through, one of the better races that we've seen in our lifetimes, probably. But as far as just the whole stretch of once Rich Strike got out and there wasn't going to be a Triple Crown winner, took a lot away from the Preakness. There are a lot of horses that ran in the Preakness that aren't running in the Belmont. So it's there's no real super long shot here. And just did a post on the Belmont and kind of went deep into these things. And I think this is an instance where either one of the 20-1 shots, I don't really think this is going to be a favorite kind of race, I would think. I don't think this is going to be a race where you're going to win a whole ton of money. With that being said, if you wanted a semi-long shot, I kind of like the filly here, Nest. There have only been 3 fillies that have ever won the Belmont, but she has proven to be quite formidable in her races against the big boys. So we'll see how she comes out.
All right.
And we'll be talking about that, by the way. We'll be talking about that in part tomorrow with Jeff Duncan on Datitude. We're going to talk Saint and Belmont for sure.
We the People is your favorite there with Rich Strike, second best odds along with Mo Donegal. So that's the Belmont. That is on Saturday evening in New York. Other thing I wanted to get to real quick, because we're still going through the offseason mini camp coming up. Saints futures, they're creeping down. Some money coming in on the Saints. The Super Bowl was 50-1 at Caesars. Now it's 40-1. NFC South was 5-1. Now it's plus 380. And how about that bottom one? I know you want to jump on this, Jim. 3 division wins over even money. So if they go 3-3 against the Bucks, Falcons, and Panthers, then you push. They go 4-2, you win. I like that a lot.
I think that is a super bet. I got so much tied up in other futures. I'm not sure how much. I haven't put anything on it yet. I'm just gonna have to wait and see. But that is a super bet. I mean, if you've got the money to put down on that, I don't see how they don't at least push that. 3 division, they're not going to go 2 and 4. I think that is that's the best bet on this whole board, and that's saying something. That's the best value in this entire board. And so, you talk about Carolina. I don't see how they don't beat them twice. Even if they slip up, there's a chance to beat Atlanta twice, and there's a chance to beat Tampa Bay at least once. I think that's just a wonderful value.
Is there any? I mean, and listen, I know we're in Louisiana. Maybe there's not a lot of. We're not asking the right place for dissent, but like I'm with Jim. I see a push as the worst case scenario, and then you whatever you put on it, you don't get to bet with it until the end of the NFL season, and so it's kind of the money is held. But 3-3 seems the worst, Spencer.
Yeah, because last year it went 2-0 against Tampa Bay, so it's definitely not a thing where Tampa Bay owns the Saints. No, if anything, the Saints own Tampa Bay, and then Carolina and Atlanta are rebuilding. So yeah, that almost seems too good to be true. That's one of those ones where it's like, my goodness, it's like
it's something stinky there, huh? Like why is that the line?
I feel like go put $100 on that right now. It just seems so good, but it's like it's too good to be true type thing. But I don't know. To me, that one's just like. I know it's a division. Anything can happen in divisional games, but the NFC South being down, I don't see where you can lose.
The thing with that, Zach, is if that's too, and just real quick, if that's too good to be true, then all the other ones are too good to be true too. That's the easiest one. I mean, you can't win any of the others without winning that one.
Well, and I mean, like if you look at this, we all have said before we like the win total over 8. It was 7.5. Well, they're not going to win 9 games if they don't win 3 division games, and you're getting better odds on the 3 division games. So to me, that's the thing. I mean, you got Carolina and Atlanta should be a 3-1 right there, and if not a 4-0. But if you go 3-1 against those two, you just you're at a push, and you just need to beat Tampa Bay 1 of 2 to get it. And by the way, they start their season with 3 straight division games. I wonder if that's part of it. Is that it's going to be difficult to win 3 in a row. And so they think the first 3 will be 2-1. I don't know. But even then, you got Carolina and Atlanta at home.
Just to push. I mean.
Yep. Devin, what are we missing?
Nothing. I mean, it's certainly a line that I think they just really don't believe in the 2022 Saints. And I mean, it's been a trend what they've done. It's not anything new, in my opinion. Going through each game, the only reason I could see them setting it at that is because of their schedule, that big, week 6 through 13 stretch of they're playing almost every game playoff opponents, and maybe they think they won't have enough gas by the end of the season. But with how dreadful Atlanta is probably going to be this season, I mean, I could see Carolina being a challenging game, and maybe they take one of them, but how much better is Tampa than New Orleans? I don't know right now. We'll see once the season starts. But the line set at 3 is certainly weird.
And Uncle Big Nick's right. That's the other thing. It could be they could have a push.
He's being completely
after the first 3
facetious,
weeks.
Zach. He's being completely facetious. He hates the Saints.
Well,
his next comment's going to be some kind of like, I don't know, something stupid. So,
Claude, by the way, Quan Alexander's still a free agent.
Yeah.
Little strange to me too. The only thing I can think is it's one of two things. It's he's asking for more money than anybody's willing to give him, or there's injury concerns, or both.
Or both. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's because he does have a history of injuries. So that Quan Alexander's still a free agent, and I don't know that the Saints really have a huge need for him at this point.
I mean, they drafted linebackers the last couple of years, so I would think they're trying to let those guys develop and just have stick with what they have. And I mean, they've added quite a bit of pieces already to that defense this offseason.
It would be a surprise.
By the way,
it would be a surprise at this point if they spent money. The money that they would need to spend on Quan, they would have to make some other moves. They need to spend that on a running back.
If you spent your money on Cleveland Browns futures or Deshaun Watson MVP, I hate to say it, but you got what you deserved. I mean, he hasn't been suspended yet or anything, but if you missed yesterday's New York Times article, you got to go read it. He is going to get a lengthy suspension. I think it's going to be at least a full season.
So, Zach, what if you bet a future on Cleveland before there was even like a sniff that they were going to sign Deshaun Watson? Do you still get what you deserve? No, I'm asking for a friend, by the way.
I mean, I guess if you got the odds that Baker Mayfield, with Baker Mayfield at quarterback, because that's what's going to end up happening. It's a good thing they held on to him, by the way. So because it's going to be another year with Baker, I think.
40-1.
Brutal. By the way, Baltimore to win that division. I like that bet. I think it's plus 220.
I kind of like.
Yeah, there's value there.
Because Pittsburgh, rookie quarterback, or Mitch Trubisky, not any better. Cleveland doesn't look like they're going to have Deshaun for at least half the season. I think it's going to be the full season. And Cincinnati, I just think there's some regression coming in. So I do like Baltimore there. What else is going on? The College World Series field will be set by Monday. We got 16 teams left. College World Series odds. Tennessee, and this is why we told you guys don't bet Tennessee, because it's the same odds as it was before the regional. You could have waited to see if they were going to have an injury or something. I still wouldn't bet them. Maybe next week when they get to Omaha, if they're still looking good, still don't have an injury, then you could look at it. But interesting things here for me after watching the regionals all weekend last week. Stanford's pitching staff is legit. Texas A&M, boy, they can hit the ball. 15-1, not a terrible bet. Devin, I know you've been looking a lot at these odds. What are your College World Series thoughts at this point?
Yeah, so there's two teams on this list that kind of stick out to me. One of them is a team that beat LSU. I think Southern Miss has a really good pitching staff as well. You talked about Stanford. I think they're up there in one of the top pitching staffs in the College World Series. So I think 25-1. Put a few dollars down on that. They get past Ole Miss and really anything can happen because they have the pitching to, at least threaten in the College World Series. So I like them, and I like North Carolina. They're a bit of a surprise this year in terms of, how good they've gotten, especially the last couple of weeks. Had to fight their way a little bit out of the regional, but I really like, what they have in store and their matchup.
Yeah, I mean, I actually think if you like Southern Miss, I think it's minus 115 aside for that super regional. I would just take Southern Miss to win that super regional to start. They're at home. They're going to have a big crowd there. Anybody else College World Series thoughts?
Yeah, I'm thinking probably the top values on the board for me would be, I said Stanford with the pitching. I like them at 6-1. And Texas at 10-1. I believe they get, I think it was East Carolina in the Supers, which looked like a pretty good matchup. So I'm thinking, and then Stanford gets UConn, I'm pretty sure, who's at the longest odds on the board. So they both get pretty easy super regional matchups where they should have a pretty easy road to Omaha. Both are legit contenders. So those would be my 2 picks if I had to pick.
No, I like that. Texas at 10-1, I think, is one I had my eye on as well. A little golf before we go. Uncle Big Nick missed us on Monday, so we shouted you out then, but you won $10,000 in DraftKings last week. Canadian Open. There's Uncle Big Nick. Yeah, Notre Dame can hit the ball, so I would not bet Tennessee now. I would wait to make sure they can get by this.
I just want to be different. I agree.
No,
think
that's right. Maybe plus 110 instead of plus 130.
Yeah, maybe. Right.
But yeah. In golf, Canadian Open, Wyndham Clark in the lead. Matt Fitzpatrick a shot back. They're wrapping up round 1. And then, of course, as I said on Monday for Bayou Bets at 4:00, we will have Trey Wingo on the show to talk U.S. Open. And here's your U.S. Open odds. Top players in the world there at the top. Jim, you said it before, and I agree with you. Justin Thomas at 14-1 sticks out like a sore thumb to me.
Yeah, and I got him on a boost a week or so ago at plus 1,500. I think that was one of Trey's boosts. So I'll be interested to talk to him about him there. Honestly, I just think that his game just kind of suits what's going on here. It's hard not to like Rory as well. We'll see what he does this week. But I'm going to have to go through it and try to find some longer shots because really a lot of times the U.S. Open is for the big boys. So it's going to whereas a longer shot can win like a Masters, I think. Nick likes Fleetwood. I think.
Yeah, listen to this man, by the way. You see Fleetwood at the bottom, 50-1.
Yeah, if you're looking for a longer shot, that might be a good one to pick. I like the way Finau's been playing. Maybe him at 4,000. But long way to go. I still have a lot of analysis to go through before then. But, yeah, right now, if I had to pick, I've already picked. I've already put money on it. I put money on JT right now. And I've got small plays on a couple of long shots, including Harold Varner III, which is, I think he was something like 100-1. So I like the price. I'm going to be looking for value to post with JT.
And you'll laugh at me. I kind of like Xander 22-1. He's finished top 10 the last 3 U.S. Opens. So, let's talk about Phil. Let's talk about the elephant.
I'm going to save. I'm going to say about LIV for Datitude tomorrow. That will definitely be one of our topics tomorrow with Jeff Duncan, and it will certainly be my monologue. So I'm going to tease that, and I think most people who know me or listen to me probably know what I think about the LIV.
All right. So check out Datitude tomorrow. That about wraps it up for us. Devin, final thought from you on this Thursday.
Yeah, a lot of attention is going to be paid to the NBA Finals tomorrow night, but I'm excited for the College World Series. It's been a couple of years since I really followed it closely, and I think this is one of the better fields. Maybe we see a long shot win. I know Stanford is a favorite, but UConn has had quite the run to get here in the Super Regionals, and maybe they pull off an upset and really make things interesting down in Omaha. But very excited to see how the College World Series stacks out.
Spencer the Guru.
Yeah, it's still got a lot of MLB going on. It's been I almost went perfect on the best bets from Tuesday with it, but the Cardinals, man, the Cardinals let me down in extra innings. So against those pesky Tampa Bay Rays, that's a tough team to have to play. But yeah, a lot of MLB going on. Will the Angels ever win another game? I guess. Well, I'm sure they will, but it might be a while. And there's NASCAR. There's NASCAR this Sunday at Sonoma Raceway, a road course. So that should be a lot of fun. So maybe have some new faces up at the front there.
Absolutely. Road courses are a lot of fun. I'm glad you brought up the Angels because I did want to talk about that. They're actually favored tonight. And when a team's on a 14-game losing streak and they're favored against a good team like Boston, I like the Angels. I know you don't, Jim. I know you won't bet against that streak, but
I don't know if that's the
favored,
Angels that are about to come storming on my house. You see how dark it got in here all of a sudden.
It did.
But it's about to storm here. So maybe that's the Angels up there telling me that I'm wrong. But never. One of the golden rules to me in betting is, especially when it comes to money lines, not so much spreads, but when it comes to money lines, is I don't bet against a losing streak. I don't bet on a losing streak of 5 or more, and I don't bet against a winning streak of 5 or more until they lose. don't necessarily bet on them or against them. But to me, you got to stick to those things until the Angels prove they can win. And I know they have a new manager tonight. Poor Joe Madden. He's got to take his World Series ring and go home. But I'm not going to mess with betting on the Angels until maybe they play the Mariners next week.
Oh man, listen, but this is like their third game without Madden, I think. So it's not even that. Phil Nevin's been there for a couple of days. I do like the Angels tonight. I will say this though. I read this today. No team in the history of modern baseball, going back to the founding of the American League in 1901, has ever in 120 years had a 14-game losing streak and finished with a winning record. It has never happened. So the Angels are only like 2 games under 500. I mean, they had a good start. So it is possible that they could break that, but it has never happened yet. A 14-game or longer losing streak and finishing with a winning record. If you haven't signed up for the Caesars Sportsbook app, go ahead and do that today. You can get and Cameron says the Yankees are going to win the World Series. That was my preseason pick at 10-1. I'm not posting his other comment. Nope, not doing it. Somebody else can do it. Get out of here. You already had your championship this year. And it was nauseating. Okay, $1,500 for your first bet. But if you like the Yankees, Cameron, you haven't signed up, you get to bet on them. If you lose, you get the money back. So it's a pretty good deal. Go to NOLA.com/Caesars for that. And with that said, man, listen, Celtics in 5, man, get that off the screen. Warriors in 5. Warriors in 5. Celtics came to play. All right. For Devin Jackson and Spencer the Guru and Jim Derry, we will see you Monday. Even Jayhawks fans can join us. 4:00 Monday. Trey Wingo's here to talk U.S. Open. We will talk NBA Finals as well. And Datitude tomorrow with Jeff Duncan, talking golf and Belmont. Until then, have a good one, everybody.